What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and we need to talk about Upstart stock, ticker symbol UPST, because this stock has been hailed as the stock that only goes up. And there are some very interesting patterns that I want to point out to you with this stock. It's an interesting company, and I'm going to talk about the not just what they do, but also some of the technicals that their chart is going on. So let's take a look at the chart. And first of all, you can see that they have been making new highs, all-time highs, I believe, on the day of $334, and these are the highest prices that they've ever traded at. Just earlier today, they have been taking a bit of a dip. They're still up on the day, so maybe they can hold on to this name of the stock that only goes up, as they've been talked about on Reddit. But it's unlikely in my opinion. I think that today might be bearish for them. I think that looking over the next couple of weeks might be bearish as well. So if you actually look at this stock, the reason they call it the stock that only goes up is because if you look at the 1-year chart, you can see that this thing has just been shooting up lately, and there have been no real significant pullbacks for any real period of time other than, at the most 2 months. And while it has been significant percentage-wise, they've always rebounded in a very strong way. Now let's analyze what's been going on with this. This stock started at $22 about a year ago, back in 2020. And has since more than 10x'd, well more than 10x'd, almost 15x'd their price. Now, what's been going on is they have continually been in these cycles where they get into a bull market, really, and they're just moving up and up and up, and then they start getting very beaten down, and there's a very bearish momentum to them. They're just moving down and down, and then they're always, time after time, saved by their earnings call, right? They have earnings, and then they shoot up in price, make new highs before returning to a bear market, going down and down and down until their next earnings call, and then they begin to shoot up in price again, make new highs, and the same thing happened a third time, right? They, over here, were shooting down and down and down, and even stagnating around this $120 level until their latest earnings call, when they then proceeded to more than double off of that news, right? They were around $140 before the earnings call, and afterwards now they've been hitting highs of $334. So, hey guys, I'm sorry to interrupt the video, but I have to do this real quick to pitch myself. I'm sorry about that, but if you actually look at my screen right now, you can see that there is a Webull referral link that you can use to get free stocks in the description. 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300. It's a great deal in my opinion. All you have to do is click the link in this video or any one of my videos, click get free stocks, make your account. It's very easy. You get 2 free stocks valued up to $2,300 after you deposit $5 into this account. The first stock is absolutely free, no deposit required. The second stock, you only have to deposit $5. That's my quick pitch for you guys. Thanks for watching. Let's get back to the video. This is a very predictable pattern over the past 3 times it's happened. It's not guaranteed that it will happen again. However, we are starting to get kind of close to the earnings call. We're about halfway in between the 2 earnings calls. It's been about a month and a half maybe since their last one, and so it's about a month and a half until their next one. And that means that we might be looking at the next cycle of this pattern, if we end up continuing it, where we start trending down in a bearish way until the earnings call. And who knows what will happen at that point. I mean, at this point, it's a fairly predictable pattern, and patterns like this tend to not remain in the markets for too long as people begin to trade around them and realize what's going on. So it seems a little unlikely that we'll be bouncing up in a huge way off of this latest earnings call. But the reason that I want to talk about Upstart is because it is getting a lot of attention on Reddit and Wall Street Bets. It's up 42 spots to the number 5 talked about stock on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, up 690% over the past 24 hours mention-wise. We have 166 mentions, 789 upvotes, and if you look at this chart right here, you can see that they are getting quite a bit of attention on Reddit. So this stock has really been blowing up retail-wise, right? Retail traders have been getting in on this, and I wanted to give you guys my opinions on it and potentially warn you of what might be going on with this stock. Now that we've gotten to such high prices, it almost seems a little ridiculous that we're at this valuation. If you actually look at Google Trends, you can see why, right? You can see this is a Google Trends search for Upstart, UPST, and basically we've been getting a lot of action on it, especially earlier today. A lot of people are potentially buying into it right now because it's supposedly this stock that only goes up. Now, I'm not so sure if that's true, because if you actually look at the big pullbacks that they've had, they've all been about 50% of the stock price. At least this one, $100, and they moved below 50, so more than a 50% drop on this pullback. This was at 160, and it moved down very close to 80, so almost to 50% on this pullback. And this one isn't quite as significant. Went from around 190 to 115. That's still fairly significant pullback. It's pretty big and would hurt a lot of investors. And we've not been shooting up as much as we have, in the past, right? These big gains that we've had, we have not been making higher highs as significant percentage-wise as we have most recently, right? We more than doubled after this last earnings call, and there really is a lot of room for investors to get hurt, especially now that we're trading at such high valuations. If you actually look at UPST, Upstart on Ortex, you can see that a ton of people, a ton of institutions rather, are shorting this thing. We're up 13.36% short interest wise, and that brings us to a 24% short interest as a percentage of the free float. Now, oftentimes, if institutions are over shorting a thing, it can be very dangerous. However, sometimes you can actually use the short interest that we're seeing here and the increase in short interest to glean what's really going on with this stock and to kind of make a bearish case for it, because this stock is already very overextended, in my opinion, right? We've already shot up a ton. And institutions are likely, look, if you just see right now, we just went up another 3%. We're now at 16% change on the day, upwards in an upwards direction. 16% more shares are being shorted today. So you can see that even though we have been getting a lot of short interest, there's still a lot of danger with this stock because we have been so overextended. This stock is really highly valued, in my opinion. And if you actually look at their overall business model, if you look at just their website, really, go to upstart.com, you can see what they do as a company. They're basically a loan provider. And, if you click on something like refinance my car, it brings you to a page, you fill out some information, and you can agree to it and see your rate, right? So basically, they're just providing these loans for people. It seems like a good business overall, but I don't know if it justifies this rapid growth, over the past year, more than 10xing in value, because when you're a loan provider, you're oftentimes tied growth-wise to the highest interest rates that you can charge people. And I don't know if you're charging 1,000% per year loan-wise, right, to actually justify the growth in revenue that you'll hopefully be seen to back up these prices. I really don't think that they've been seeing that great of revenue. Obviously, yes, their earnings have been growing somewhat massively. They've probably been using some form of venture capital to fund some of their growth and to provide loans to more people by spreading themselves potentially somewhat thin. But Upstart overall, while it does seem like a good company, I don't know if it's a good company to be investing in at these prices, because these are really inflated values. And if you actually look, like I was saying earlier, at Ortex, you can see a lot of institutions which are occasionally somewhat savvy, right? Sometimes institutions actually get it right and they see a company that's overvalued and they start shorting it. And especially on a company this large, if you look at their market cap, it is almost $25 billion. This is a fairly large company, and really it would take a ton of retail investors to be getting in on this to actually push it up, if people were hoping for some kind of short squeeze, because I will admit that if you look at the short interest as a percentage of the free float, it is 25%. That's somewhat significant. It's somewhat large. But I will say that you would need a massive amount of retail money to be going into this stock to actually, move it enough to cause some kind of short squeeze, because we're already so inflated. I think there are a bunch of people who would be looking to take profits before any kind of short squeeze would happen. So I don't want to just be a big bear on this stock. Unfortunately, I just don't see it as a massive opportunity. And I did want to make this video because I know that based off of what we're seeing on Reddit and Wall Street Bets, a lot of people are potentially getting involved in this, especially since we're not down that much on the day, right? We're down 0.33%. So if you look at the Ortex short change, we're up 16% on the day. So that means that obviously there's a lot of buying pressure coming in. I fear that a lot of it's retail and that they're going to be bag holding this stock when it may be moving down, just based off of a bunch of factors, right? Like the technical pattern that we saw where we end up moving down right before earnings and then rebounding after it. We could be, this could very well be the peak, and we could be moving down right before earnings, and institutions could essentially maybe even be tricking retail into getting in on this. I don't know who was posting these things about Upstart, but it seems like the kind of situation where maybe institutions are using bots or something to manipulate the stock, try to move it up so that they can short at very high prices, push this thing down. It's a very risky situation, in my opinion. No, I'm not a huge fan of this. What I see going on here, it does look very risky to me. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. If you're involved in it, you've probably done your own research and you have reasons to believe that it's going up. Based off what I could find, I could not find anything too great with it other than the idea that it just always moves up. And while we have seen that, there have been these massive times when it's moved down 50% or more sometimes. So there is a lot of danger associated with this stock, and I'm not sure if it's the best investment to be making. That's just my opinion, not financial advice. I don't want to persuade you either way. I'm just making this as a video to share my opinion and potentially warn you guys about something that I see that's been going on that looks kind of fishy with it. But That's all I've got for you on Upstart UPST. If you've enjoyed the video, feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and use the Webull referral link in the description to get free stocks valued up to $2,300. You can do that, get some free stocks, and put it in whatever you want. You could buy any stock with it once you sell those stocks, or take the cash, withdraw it, and do whatever you want. So other than that, guys, have a great day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.